Hello and welcome to Frozen Synapse 2 Developer Diary number 8. I am Ian Hardingham, I am the designer and lead programmer on Frozen Synapse 2, and I'm here to talk to you about it. We've been at the Eurogamer show this week, EGX, so I haven't had much time to program anything new, so I'm going to show you a few aspects of the game that are in there on the city level. So prepare yourselves for that. I'm just going to start off where I finished last week. The big project that I'm undergoing right now is trying to get the whole of the city generating properly for in-mission levels. Now, I've got up here a really nice looking level. This main lot, where the predominant part of the mission is going on, is called a shape node. Very exciting, weird nomenclature there. And in general, this just shows what kind of levels you'll be looking at when you're playing a Frozen Synapse 2 mission. We have some normal level gen going over here, a lot of roads. As I said before, we're probably going to change it so the cars look a little bit more like they're static, parked on the side of roads, or stopped because of weird gunfire, than just an individual snapshot of traffic, which they look a bit too much like now. This park's okay, we need to work on that a little bit. As I said last week, we've got these buildings that aren't part of the gameplay area have now got some nice height to them, which I think makes you really feel a lot more like you're playing inside the city. At the show this week, several people asked me, with these much bigger missions, is there a big change to Frozen Synapse, which was a very fast game, very quick game? Is this moving towards sort of slower, more considered, longer missions? And the answer to that is kind of no, in all honesty. I'm very clear on what I like as a game player and what Frozen Synapse is about, and I'm not about to throw that all away. Frozen Synapse is about fast action that starts off with an immediately interesting scenario. So even though it's a pretty huge mission, for most of the time, if you're attacking this building, for instance, you will arrive in your vehicle, maybe over here somewhere, and at the very start, the guys who are there won't know you're there, and you'll be able to move your troops anywhere on the roads around where you're not in direct view of one of the patrolling enemies, anywhere that you plausibly could get to before they saw you. So you're going to have the ability to start anywhere that you think is a good tactical location before you get in. And while it may be a few more turns than your standard Frozen Synapse 1 mission, it really feels very similar. We have the excellent new stealth mechanics, which really add a lot to the game. We have all the new units. The new terrain makes some different choices as well. But this very much feels like a Frozen Synapse game. So just starting off where we left off last week, showing you how the progress I'm making, and we're certainly getting on with things now. We're getting towards the end of this city work, getting some very exciting generation happening. I'm going to show you now a couple of the building types that Robin's been working on, and then we're going to move to the city. Now, I just wanted to have a chance to show you the stadium that Robin was working on yesterday. There are lots and lots of special building types that you can come across in the city, all inserted properly into a big city level like you've just seen. And this is one of the most exciting, because this is a sports stadium, and what would they be playing in a sports stadium in Frozen Synapse 2? Of course, a sport that won't be invented for another 3,000 years, Frozen Cortex. One of the things that we are adding to the levels is civilians doing some flavorful activities and then running away when they hear gunfire. I think it's really important to have that kind of stuff. Now, the civilians in the editor are painted green and red. Of course, that will not be the case. They'll be a much more neutral, probably a blue or something, so you can easily ignore them, as they are just, as I say, flavour and not anything important to the mission. But as you can see, as long as you haven't sounded the alarm yet and started shooting people, you'll be able to see them play a round of Frozen Cortex, which I think is pretty cool. So that's a great Easter egg that I'm going to enjoy people finding in the game. Robin's also been working on a hospital. This looks okay so far. We've got waiting areas around here. I'm trying to get him to put a circle of road around the front so it looks a bit more like a hospital. In fact, I'm not completely sure this is the latest version, but this is something else he's been doing. Okay, and here we are at the city level. Please don't panic about how weird this looks. Things have changed, but that's just because we're in the process of tightening up and improving the graphical look of the game, and all of this stuff is just placeholders to help our wonderful lead artist Rich get things right. So this is a bit of a riot of colour, but just try and ignore that, because this is really not what the game is going to be looking like in a week or two. Now, I just wanted to show you guys on this week that I've got a bit of a dearth of new content to show you. I just wanted to show you some of the AI activities as you start a game of Frozen Synapse 2. So we start at 12:01 on January the 1st, 00507. No, I don't think it's going to stay that date. That's a Frozen Cortex date. Never mind. We'll get rid of the advisor for now. And if we just advance a couple of minutes of game time, we can see some things going on. So I'm guessing we've got two blue Sunlight squads here, their primary strike team, and an evangelist squad. They've just come out of the blue Sunlight base here. Now, I can tell you, because I'm the game developer, that the evangelist squad, they're going to go to some public space, like a bar or a restaurant or a gym or a park, and they're going to evangelize there, which tends to annoy the owners of that building, generally cause a nuisance of themselves. One of the things you can do is go and remove them forcibly or diplomatically. That's one of the contracts you're given. And I actually have no idea what their strike team are going to do. Blue Sunlight do start off with a couple of enemies on the galactic map, as it were. So they're probably off to attack one of those guys. Something major's just happened, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But let's have a look and see if we can find any other guys moving around. Okay, we have now GUE stands for guest. They are actually kind of a bad terrorist faction, or they are currently, and they've got a demolition squad going off to blow something up. That's the kind of bad things they do. This is Fortune's Glaive. This is their strike team. Again, not entirely sure what they are up to. But as we've just had this major event, which has come in on the left-hand side of the screen, we have an Art Int incursion. This is the big exterior force that sort of controls major events in the game of Frozen Synapse 2. They're coming into the city looking for artifacts. And all of the competing factions in the game are trying to get these artifacts, which kind of only appear when the bad guys, who are codenamed Artint but are actually called Sonata, come in and try and dig them up at random locations around the city. So this really starts getting into one of the most unique aspects of Frozen Synapse 2. We're so far away from other factions just being mission givers or background data. The other factions are really like other players, and how they react to the incursions is probably the primary example of that. All of them, and you, the player, are trying to get these artifacts, and it's the central form of prestige and progression inside the general city. So as soon as one of these incursions happen, most of the competing factions send their strike team to where the incursion is. Let's click on the zoom button and find out where that is. Here it is. It's in a residential building. And we can see with this debugging stuff up here that there's actually quite a large force here. We've got a few assault rifles, pistol, shotgun, and a grenade launcher. That's who the Artint have sent in. There's a shard, and that's the thing you're really looking for, and some money as well. Always have to have money in these things. So as soon as this happens, generally the first one you'd expect the player to go to. That's kind of would be part of the sort of tutorial-ish thing. Is giving the player an example of what they generally want to be doing if they're not deciding to sandbox around, which they can also do. But I'm going to ignore this one myself. But as I progress time, you will see that the AI has decided to, all the competing teams' AI have sent their strike teams to go and get the incursion. Now, all sorts of shenanigans go on around an incursion, and especially if you've allied yourself with another team, you may be given some pretty interesting requests. Factions will ask you to block other factions from getting to incursions first. They will ask you to attack them if they have successfully got incursions, and they will tell you to leave an incursion alone. It's all pretty interesting. It's actually based very, very mildly on a Brandon Sanderson book, which is about competing factions looking for gem hearts, which are the hearts of these big creatures they have to kill in a weird place called the Shattered Plains. And I've always found that just war or not war is a bit of a boring dichotomy when it comes to having interesting diplomatic relations with other teams. I wanted to have something which is a little bit less extreme than just am I attacking you or am I not attacking you. Have these events that are competed for in a slightly sport kind of way, in a way that has a lot of etiquette around it. So I've just been talking about that for 5 minutes. I have no idea if I was making any sense. I don't know if it made any sense to you guys, if you could work out what I was saying, but that's kind of what I want to communicate. So these guys are all coming towards the incursion now. I'm just going to let the simulation run for a little bit, and we have something else going on which we will ignore. So the first guys to get there are Blue Sunlight, and let me have a look at the log. Sonata have resisted Blue Sunlight's attacks. So Sonata have no luck. Their guys are dead and currently regenerating back at their primary base. I wonder if SAF, who I think is Safeguard. I think that's a private police corporation. Let's see if they have any more luck. And another nice thing on the city, interesting events involving factions get printed onto buildings. So here we have in blue, Sonata have resisted Blue Sunlight's attack. I don't know if it will be presented exactly like that, but again, this is trying to tell the story of your game visually in the city. So the whole intrigue of the city level is being told by what these factions do to each other and do to other stuff, and we definitely want to display important points of the map and show you that these things have happened, because this log down here on the bottom right, it's all very good, but it's not the kind of thing we're expecting a player to look at all the time. I doubt it will be visible as default on the time screen. It might be, not sure. So Safeguard, go and have a look. And Sonata have resisted them as well. Sonata are doing pretty well. Now they're just going to continue digging around in this residential building for another 2 in-game hours, I think, and then leave, unless anyone manages to take them on. Just as a nice way of finishing this, I guess I might as well send my strike team over and have a look and see if the level loads without crashing. So our squads have reached there. We'll interact. Let's have a look. In fact, I think I may have sent them to the wrong building, which is very embarrassing. Let's try that one again. And they go in. Let's see. Oh, we can attack the incursion. So hold on to your pants. Is this going to load properly? Oh my goodness, it actually loaded properly, and the level looks quite nice. This residential building in the suburbs has rather a funky shaped house there. Some excellent work by Robin. As we arrive, we see the Sonata forces, oblivious to our presence. I'm just playing first through the first 5 seconds of their patrol route as they look around. We have the 2 items on display here. Don't know which one's the cache and which one's the artifact, but that's obviously get cleared up at some point in development, probably. As I was telling you guys, you can deploy, as long as the enemy are unaware when you arrive, which is only true some of the time, you can deploy anywhere with it which is not directly in line of sight. So I can't put myself there, but I can put myself over there. So this gives you a good opportunity to try and get in stealthy, get into a good situation. I don't have time right now. Oh, look at that! While we were talking, the icons changed to the right icons. I literally have no idea how that happened. Good. Games development. So yeah, I'm not going to actually play out this mission, but hopefully it's given you a bit of an idea about what's going on. And we'll draw this to a close now. Thank you very much to everyone who's been watching these videos. There's been some great feedback. I've been really, really overjoyed with the kind of constructive, polite criticism that I've been getting about aspects of this. It's been fantastic to do this just about once every week, and I'm going to keep doing it. Please share these videos with your friends and keep watching them and keep commenting and just tell me anything you think. It's really, really useful to me. These games take years and years to make, and being able to have some input during them from you guys is really fantastic. Also, if you don't know about our podcast, myself and Paul, the other half of the directorial team of Mode 7, have a really good podcast called Visiting the Village. We talk about games and games business and games development every week, and we have a small but pretty loyal following, so do give that a go if you want to hear more of my voice. I'm not sure you would want to do that at this point, but never mind. That's Visiting the Village. So once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you next week.